How you doing? And welcome to another Horseshoe review. In this review, we're going to take a look at the 6-shooter. It's a traditional style pitching horseshoe that's anything but traditional. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. This is a Thoroughbred 6-shooter horseshoe. This has been redesigned. This will sound familiar because they actually had the Colt 6-shooter. This is redesigned loosely on that shoe. It's got a lot of new improvements from the old Colt 6-shooter. Let's take a look at a few. There's two things that jump out at you about this horseshoe. The first thing that you see is the Vortex interior shape that makes the shoe wrap around the stake rather than jump back off of it. The second thing is the dot style gripping for out of this world control. This really, in slick conditions, you have no problems with this grip. The tapered blades and the rounded edges make this very comfortable to hold in the hand and shoot all day in tournaments. From the bottom near the hook all the way to the top gives people different grips for smaller hands all the way up to larger hands. And we just talked about hooks. These things are monsters. They're large hooks. I'm just wondering if that's going to offset the center balance on these. I'm just wondering if they're going to be weighted more for a flipping shoe or if they're going to be centered balanced. They say they're very well centered shoes. We'll take a look at the hooking power also. They look like they do have very deep hooks, and with this contour that might score pretty well on the hooking power rating. So we'll check that out. Just looking at this, I'm guessing that the hooking power rating and the QBR, Qukslvr balance rating, this shoe is going to do very well. So we'll see here. And with these oversized hooks, they get on a pile of shoes. Those oversized hooks are able to get trapped in between different angles of shoes and really keeps this shoe on the stake rather than getting knocked off. We will see how that works when we throw these later on in the test. So stay tuned for that. These are made in the United States and they come with a 2-year warranty. I'd bet that you're not going to need that warranty because these things are so well made. I have been shooting Thoroughbred horseshoes for quite a few years now, and I only broke one. And the reason that broke was specifically for something I did to that horseshoe. So those are some of the key things. Let's get into the balance of this shoe. Now I did measured it from top to bottom, and then found out where the center of the shoe was, and I marked it with a pencil. So we're going to put that right on top of the balance beam, and I put it right on the line. They say these are balance perfect. Stop me right in midstream what I was saying. These things went right to perfectly balanced. They're right on the money. For how big these hooks are, everything seems to be done right on these. And the last thing we need to do is go ahead and check the hooking power rating. So the QBR on these are 0. They're perfectly balanced. The only other shoe on that was the Patriot that we did earlier, and that had a perfect 0 balance on that. Some of the other shoes have been off 1, either -1 or +1, but this one is definitely right on the money. Right centered straight off the bat, a perfect balanced shoe. So that's good on that. It does say it is a perfect balanced shoe, and it owns up to that. So now the thing we're going to do is we're going to see how great these hooks are, and they are deep. They are deep hooks, and they look like they come around. They're not pointed, they're actually cut off, and that might hurt the hooking balance rating. But another thing with this Vortex, how this comes in like this, that'll help it. Like I said in the other video, the M&M specials, that the interior of the shoe plays a part on the hooking power rating. It's not just simply the size of the hooks. There's other things that come into play. So we'll take a look at this here. There. And I'm going to take this, touch it there, and bring it in, and that's going to come right at 4 inches. So this is off of a scale of 5. So that's a +1 on the hooking power rating, which is pretty good. A lot of times our bigger hooks on a lot of our shoes that I've already done have been a +0.5 or a 0, and that's sort of the standard. But these actually exceed that. They're good hooks, and the Vortex interior helps with that hooking power rating. We'll see when we go to the Blood Horseshoe Club tomorrow and I throw these, see how many rejected shoes I get. And I do all my stuff in slow motion, so if something's close or gets rejected, I'll slow motion it pretty good, and we'll see why it rejected. Did it hit absolutely perfectly inside this shoe and come straight off, or did the Vortex have anything to do with it? Did the hooks not have any say in keeping that shoe on? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to see what kind of weight these are. These should be heavies, which should be 2 pounds 10 ounces. And they come up 2 pounds 9.5 ounces. So they are considered heavy shoes. So 2.95. So let's go outside and shoot these and see how they react. I will do 10 flips and 10 turns, and then we'll come back in here and give you my thoughts. Okay, here we are in the pitching portion of this review. And what I'm gonna try and do is make sure that this shoe does not miss open or miss close. Now, what I mean by that is I don't have a lot of interior room on this shoe, so my fingers are going to tend to be on either side of the blade. If I have too much pressure on my index finger, it's going to create friction, and as it releases, it's going to start pulling on the shoe a little bit, and it's going to miss open. Okay, it's going to come in and it's going to miss open, and it's open to my body. It's going to be opening up to my body, otherwise it's going to close into my body. Okay? So if I have too much pressure on my pinky, it'll drag and pull the shoe out of my hand, and it'll start flipping, and it'll come in closed. Those are the two things I really think that's going to happen with this shoe, and I'm going to try very hard to make sure that I do not get into that situation. I don't think I'm going to flop the shoe, but it might happen, and that's going to be very easy if I get lazy and with my elbow hyperextended and I keep my palm flat. That'll keep me from flopping. Okay, those are two really good concentrated shoes. Now let's see if I can just relax a little bit and see if the shoe can do its thing. Okay, and you can see how that shoe missed open, and I did feel it it felt good hanging, but when I came up, it shifted a little bit, and I figured I could correct that in my throw, and it didn't. I felt it on my index finger more, and I just let it fly, and you saw what happened. Now, you'll see that in slow motion because I want to show you that open shoe and what it did in the air, and that's my fear of these shoes. So let me go back to a full concentrated shoe and see what happens again. So not bad, back to 6-packs. That's tiring. I don't like shooting like that. I like shooting more of a relaxed, even if I shoot worse, I enjoy the game more if I shoot more of a relaxed and not 100% concentrated. I'm not a professional, and I can't shoot like that 100% of the time. It's just draining. So, very good. So I think that's 5 out of 6. So I've already got my goal. Let's do 4 more. maybe I'm finding out what my problem with my game is. It's not that I can't play, it's that I don't focus 100%. So two more shoes. That's 7 out of 8. Didn't want to finish like that, but it's the way it happened. So I finished 7 out of 8 on a goal of 50%. So let me just pack this down and we'll go throw some turns. All right, so here we are. We're going to be turning these bad boys now. And I'm going to hold them just like I hold my Challengers, which is my palm pad down on the heel caulk. And actually that seems a little thin down there, so I'm going to move it up. And put my index finger on, there's a slight hump before this divot here. I'm going to put it there. And that feels actually a lot better. And I love these dimples too. These dimples have a nice feel with the Thoroughbred smooth edges. Just makes this a really good feeling shoe. So we'll see how I do. I'm looking for a 4 out of 10.
Something to drink. I'm buying.
The V8 spicy?
Okay.
Thank you. So first throwing those is they're not coming in too bad. I gotta get them to sit down flatter. That's much better. So we got 1 out of 4 here. Thank you.
Sure.
So that's 3 out of 6, so they're flying good.
Huh?
Talking to camera.
Oh. Turn.
There we go.
Yeah, you babied the first one a little bit
Yeah.
instead of putting a little power on it.
Well, that's my goal. I got 4 out of 8, so just 2 more to go. See if I can't get at least 1 more on. You mean pro body? What do they call those pro antibodies?
For I had a tooth pulled, and I'm going to get a.
All right, so there was a review, and thanks for watching. At the end there, I did get interrupted by somebody in the club, so I had to cut it off there. We got into a lengthy discussion, and it just went on and on, so I just ended it there. To sum it up, I think I shot pretty good with those. I exceeded my expectations on the flip, and the turn shoe threw very well for me. So even though these are universal shoes, I'd be more likely to use them as a flipping shoe just because they flip so easily for me. So thanks for watching, and don't forget, always remember to take a breather while you're pitching horseshoes. And Boost Oxygen will help you with that. Thanks for watching.